Well, hello there, boys and girls, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. Tonight, we're just going to have so much fun with our program that I know every one of you is going to be so excited about it. You know what we're going to do tonight? We're going to announce the winners of our contest. And I know each and every one of those, almost 100 children sent in their names and their pictures. And I know each one of them is going to be excited and listening for their name. And grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads, you be listening too, just in case the kids are at a ball game or watching a movie or something else. And next Friday night, we're going to have on the air to get their prizes. So we have 4 prizes we're going to give. The first one is, this is our grand winner. And I want you to pay close attention to this picture. This young lady really put some work in on this picture. It says, "What Christmas Means to Me." And this is Becky Elslager, who's only 10 years old. And look at the beautiful work she did on this picture. Now, those of you that didn't work quite as hard know why you didn't get the grand prize winner. So think about it, because we're going to have another contest we're going to announce next week, and I want you to really work hard on it, okay? The next prize we have is our first prize for the young children. That means the children 1st through 3rd grade. And that is won by Matthew Doore, D-O-O-R-E, at Keokuk Christian Academy. And that beautiful? Now, Matthew did some good work on that. Yes, he did. And just think, he's only in the 3rd grade. Isn't that beautiful? And our second grand prize, our second first place winner is to the upper class, those that are older. And this is Nelson Chang, who is 11 years old. And look at this. Let me tell you, this young man put some work in on this. This is all done with pencil. It is so beautiful. See, he put some work in on it and some thought. That's what we were looking for. And it's all about what Jesus and what Christmas means to him. And then I decided that we should have one more prize. Because after all, this little girl is only 3 years old, and I thought we should give a prize to the youngest person who entered the contest. Now we know that this little girl is only 3 years old. And her name is Elaine Grace Printy, 3 years old. Now, we know she didn't write all that words on the top of it because she's only 3 years old. She can't write. So her mother did the writing. But she did the coloring and the pictures. Now, isn't that beautiful? Elaine Grace Printy, 3 years old, of Carthage, Illinois, did that one. Now, next Friday night, I'm going to hope that all 4 of these children can be here to get their prize. They all get a prize for the work they did. We had a lot of contest winners. We had a lot of entries. And you know what? I just was so excited about how many people entered this contest and how exciting it was. We're going to have another contest. Next Friday night, we're going to announce it. Now we're going to have a story. And I think if you look at this picture right here, you can figure out what the story is going to be about. This story I'm going to dedicate because this week is Grand Eagles Week here in Keokuk, Iowa. And you know, if you go down to the mall, you see all the eagles on display. And if you go out to the sites to see them on the river, all along the river, you see the eagles this week. Now, I don't know, they say it has to be pretty cold for them to come out. So I don't know how many of them are out. But I'm dedicating this one to our new mayor. This is Grand Eagles Week, and I know that it has a great meaning to him. And he's such a special person and such a good Christian. I'm dedicating this little poem to our new mayor. Where craggy peaks pierce a sure sky, with somber hue and regal, in lonely lands where winds brood and sigh, abide the magic eagle. O splendid bird of fierce attire, I see you in graceful silhouette, spread-winged and circle over higher in a sky-born pirouette. You wander far from your alpine home to a distant timberline, fulfilling an innate need to roam like a lonely peregrine. Your eyrie lies on a lofty perch in a mountain wilderness. You survey your realm in keen-eyed search and plunge for prey through emptiness. Oh, could I but emulate your courage, our fearless pursuit of aim, accepting life through storm or calm with nobleness of frame. There's nothing more beautiful than an eagle. You know, as I searched for my material to have each week, I let God guide me. And every once in a while, I get surprised at what He tells me He wants me to do. I got a surprise when I was looking through my material, looking for something to do tonight. And there was that eagle, and God says, this is Eagles Week in Keokuk, Iowa. So do a program or a little poem on that. And then I'm looking through some more of my materials, look for something to do, and I come up on this one, and I knew I had to do this. It's called Mama's Pie. You know why I chose this? Not only because God asked me to, or told me to, I should say, because my mother made the best pies in the whole world. And when I was about the same age as this little girl in this story, my mother taught me how to make a pie, and it just reminded me so much of it. I was 9 the summer Mama taught me how to bake a pie. It was an occasion, a rise of courage, a journey back into family history. The lesson was full of truth, pungent as wild berries, liberally dusted with flour and punctuated with a wooden rolling pin. And that's exactly how it was when I baked my first pie. We had an old wood rolling pin. I stood next to the cutting board, my dress covered with a folded dish towel, cinched around my middle and tied at the back. You take this much flour, Mama said, dumping an undisclosed amount in a large bowl. Then you add the shortening, about this much. She dropped a big glob of the sticky white stuff into the flour. Now a pinch of salt. Take this pastry cutter and cut through the flour and shortening until it looks like cornmeal. Here now, you do it. And I took the cutter and I started making my first pie crust. I had no idea what cornmeal looked like. I was just a little girl. But I kept cutting through the mixture. Certainly Mama would give me a hint when it got to the right stage. After a bit, the flour and the shortening were crumbly and coarse. Mama looked at it, nodded, and announced it was time to add the water. You never dump water into pie dough, Mama warned. You sprinkle it on, a tiny bit at a time, and use your hands like this. And I can just see her, and my hands look just like hers, reaching in there and kneading that dough, putting it together. She dipped her fingers into a cup of water and shook the drops over the mixture, tossing it now and then with a fork. Then the dough could be pressed together into a crumbly ball. She stopped, took about half of the mixture out of the bowl, and pressed it together into an oval on the flour board. Now you roll it out, she said, but only roll it once. Pie crust is like people. You treat them gently, and they turn out tender. But if you keep pushing and pressing them, they'll turn out tough and tasteless every time. I rolled, centered to edge, all around the circle. Don't worry if it crumbles around the edge, Mama said, noting my frustration. That's the best sign of a good batch. Gently, we transferred the flattened dough into a pie plate. Now the berries, she said. The tart wild blackberries, frosted with sugar and flour and seeping with purple juice, tumbled into the waiting pie shell. we had picked them the day before, hunting through the burned-off growth in the woods beneath the cemetery. I still bore scars from the adventure. Hairline scratches laced my hands, and purple stains outlined my fingernails. These berries were earned with sweat and blood and would taste all the better for our efforts. After I rolled the top crust, Mama cut a curved line into its center, just like my mama used to do. She murmured. She crumbled the edge with her fingers and thumbs, deftly creating a scalloped border along the pie. After brushing the top crust with cream, we slipped the pie into the oven, and Mama put the tea kettle on. A sigh we were to have a talk. When the china cups were filled and steaming, Mama put 2 chairs up to the table, and we sat. For the first time, I sensed that Mama and I were somehow equal, and I felt special, privy to some feminine world I'd never known before. Mama stirred her tea and started to talk, introducing me to her past, the time before she was a mama. We were poor kids, she said, but we never knew it. Daddy and Mama raised 10 of us on a small farm where we had a little garden, a pasture, and an orchard, all surrounded by woods. We always had fresh or canned vegetables, milk from the cow, and plenty of eggs, even during the Depression, and Mama always made pies. There were green apple pies, pumpkin pies, even homemade mincemeat pie, when one of the neighbors had good luck hunting and got a deer. But the favorite was always wild blackberry pie. We kids called them little creepy crawlers because in the woods behind our house, the vines crept along the forest floor, tangling themselves around stumps and over stones. We'd chamber through the prickly vines, searching for the sweet, dark berries and plopping them into our tin lard buckets. The smell of the berries, warm from the sun, was heavenly, and we ate as many as we saved, stained our fingers and lips with the purple juice. My mother baked the pies as soon as we turned with the fruit. She always hummed while she baked. Flour dusting rising about her like a cloud and settling on her hair and faded cotton dress. "Is that when you learned how to bake pies, Mama?" I asked, trying to imagine my mother as a little girl, scratched and stained with berry juice and filled with the same insecurities and sense of wonder as I was. "Yes," Mama said with her lips curled in a smile, soft with remembrance. "I was just about your age, and I remember I had to stand on an apple crate to reach the countertop." The fragrance of the baking pie wound around us, casting a spell of homey intimate as we sipped our tea, sharing our heritage until the timer interrupted us with a rude buzz. As we removed the steaming pie from the oven, Mama sighed with satisfaction and said, "There now, that's a job well done." And somehow I know she meant more than just the baking of the pie. The summer afternoon of my first pie was more, and yet its memories are as sweet and as real as the berries in the bowl before me. I think it's time to call my daughter in from play and show her how to bake a pie. Perhaps we'll sit and share a cup of tea while it bakes. And I will tell her how her great-grandma used to bake a pie. Now, we had my son-in-law lived just down the road from us. My mom cooked. She just thought it was the best food in the world. And she'd say, "Mom, how did you do that? What? Have you got the recipe?" Called my mom. The whole family still called my mom made noodles. Mom was giving her the recipe over the telephone. She said, "And a pinch of salt." I can hear it like it was yesterday. And my sister-in-law said, "Pinch of salt." Not a pinch of salt, is. And my mom says, "Just a salt." So we kind of had that as a family joke for our sister-in-law. She didn't know what a pinch of salt was. So when we do our baking, we still laugh about Sarah and her pinch of salt. And this has got a recipe even to tell how to make that blackberry pie. And that's one of my favorites too, the blackberry pie. Okay, I just was so overwhelmed that that was so much like how I learned to make a pie that I wanted to share it with you. Now I have lots of stories here. I have to watch my time, you know. Okay, I found one that I really liked a lot as I was searching for material to do my program tonight. And I found this one since you know that we're going to soon have the Olympics, and they're going to be on TV. No matter how much you try, they're going to be on television, they're going to be on radio, they're going to be everywhere you look. And this was a story about a young lady and her tryout. Tryout, the most dreadful word in all of sports. Tryout means some make the team and some don't. I thought, clasping and unclasping my hands as we headed toward the ice rink, noticing my fidgeting, my mom turned her head slightly from the road. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "The tryouts," I sighed. It sounds so perfect. 8 teams composed of the top players in the whole state. That's only 144 girls. What if I don't make the team? "Just do your best and let God do the rest," Mom said. "How many girls can possibly be trying out? Besides, you were named all conference. Don't worry. You'll do fine." Mom shifted her attention back to the road as I prayed. "Lord, I want this. I really do. Please, this is so important to me. I really need your help tonight. I know you want the best from me. Maybe this is it." I suggested tentatively my past hockey experience played before me like a home video. People wonder why hockey is so important to me. I could be out earning money, instead I play hockey. I could have more free time, instead I play hockey. They don't know that over the years the Lord has used hockey to teach me nearly every important life lesson. I've learned patience, faith, courage, self-control, and trust. My parents didn't even want me to try such a dangerous sport, but God opened their hearts, and now I'm allowed to play. "Amen," I whispered. "Did you say something, dear?" I said amen. I was praying for the umpteenth time today. "Well, I was too," said Mom. "Thanks, Mom. I love you." After what seemed like hours, I was finally on the ice, part of a flock of girls eyeing an official-looking man standing off to the side. Suddenly the man called us to the center ice. "Welcome to the premier Platinum Girls Hockey Tryout," he said. "The tryouts are for 2 days, today and tomorrow. We're glad to see you all here." Then he abruptly changed from Mr. Positive to Mr. Merciless. "The judges are up there." He pointed to the top row of the stands. "So don't try to impress us," he said, gesturing toward the other 2 referees on the ice. "There are over 200 girls trying out. Show them what you've got." Before I knew it, we were lined up ready to begin the drills. My legs felt so heavy I could hardly get them to move. I feel like I am skating in peanut butter, I thought. I fought through the peanut butter, but everything I had in me, and finally, most of the drills first in my group. The tryouts flew by as fast as the judges penned on their clipboards. I can't believe I scored a goal. I sat on the bench, replayed the shot in my mind, enjoying the moment. I watched the scrimmage before me, breathing a sigh of relief. Only a few girls have scored. Surely now I'll make a team. At shrill whistle interrupted my thoughts. "All right, that's it for now," said Mr. Merciless. "We'll finish up tomorrow. The judges will meet the next day, and if you make a team, your coach will call you Thursday or Friday of this week." And that was it. The next day my head hurt, my throat was scratchy, and I couldn't be away from a Kleenex box for more than a few seconds. "Oh no, I'm sick. What about the rest of the tryouts?" After much deliberating, I decided to go anyway. Miraculously, I did even better than the first night. Now all I had to do was wait. I puttered through Thursday, waiting anxiously for the call. What if the phone doesn't ring? No, don't think that, I told myself. Lord, please make the phone ring, I whispered. I was sure God was going to hear my prayers. You want what's best for me, don't you, Lord? Thursday ended. No call. Friday evening came. We had planned on going out of town for the weekend. After the call, of course, but by 6 there had still been no call. Sorry, Amy, Dad said, but we have to go. I glanced at the telephone, willing to ring, but it didn't. Numbly, I followed my family out the door. My parents were typical parents. They become indignant when someone says their daughter's not good enough for any team. But all that weekend, they smiled and tried to say upbeat things. Over the next week, I became more and more disheartened. The Lord had opened so many doors during my years playing hockey. Why was he now slamming them shut? Disappointment settled in, and I couldn't shake it. I'd wanted to get in that league so badly. Now my hopes had fallen flat. I just couldn't understand why God wasn't making this happen for me. Plopping down at the kitchen table, I began to open a piece of junk mail. A bookmark fluttered to the floor. On it were the words, "Snap out of it." For the first time that week, I laughed out loud. Okay, Lord, you win, I thought. I know I have to stop moping about this. I trust that you know what's best for me, no matter what happens. That Saturday morning, at breakfast, the phone rang. Mom answered. She was silent a moment, then her eyes got wide. Amy, it's the director of the Platinum League. They have one spot left. Would you take it? My spoon, full of cereal, stopped halfway between my mouth and the bowl. I nodded enthusiastically and danced around the table while Mom got the details. Pausing a moment, I set up a prayer of thanks. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this gift. Use me to glorify you as I play. Let's remember when we're watching the Olympics, which will be coming within the next few weeks, that every one of those girls and boys and men and women, whatever's on the Olympics, they have gone through this very same thing that this young lady went through. They have practiced, they have put all their time into it, but you know they wouldn't be on the team if it wasn't God's will. God is the one who makes the final choice. And thank goodness this young lady said, Dear Lord, thank you so much for this gift. Use me to glorify you as I play. We need to think more about that, don't we? Because sometimes we have a tendency to forget all the effort and things that people go through to get what they want in life. We have 5 minutes left, and I have a cute little story here that I just fell in love with. So I'm going to read it, and this is going to be my last one, I think. A Time magazine article asked why so many women in today's society choose not to marry. Author Melissa Banks spelled out the answer in clear terms. She wrote, let's face it, you don't just want a man in your life, you only want a great man in your life. Girls, are you listening? Not just any man, a great man. Of course, the definition of great might mean different things to different people. Yet the Bible teaches that true greatness is a result of being approved and blessed by God. See, now this is a mistake I made. That's why my marriage didn't work, because I didn't know this before. Look at the description in Psalms 112 of a blessed man, the one who enjoys the approval of God. He fears the Lord. He finds delight in God's commands. He is righteous. He is gracious and compassionate. He is generous. He has a steadfast trust in God. He is secure and fearless. What a list of characteristics. These are the marks of a truly great man. Obviously, these lofty characters qualify qualities aren't limited to men. This would be an effective checklist for all of us as we strive to live as God would have us live. By the Holy Spirit's enablement, may we all live in a way that marks us as a great in God's eyes. When we do, others will notice, and then we can reflect any praise back to Him. True greatness comes not by man's acclaim, nor is it attained by wealth or fame. The fear of the Lord is where it starts when we obey God and give Him our hearts. Godliness is true greatness. So girls and boys, when you choose your mate, of course James is a little bit young to be thinking about that, but someday it's going to happen. Remember these characteristics, what makes a great person, not just a man. And you don't want just any man or any woman. You want a very special, great person, don't you? Yeah, because you're great. And you want some that's your equal. Okay, got one moment left, so we'll close tonight with all my love. I don't believe that's what I had picked out here. So many times I bring you problems, Lord. It seems my life is filled with strife and care. And when I need someone to see me through, I always seek your help, dear Lord, in prayer. But for today, I bring no problems, Lord. I simply come to worship and to pray. I thank you for your never-failing love and for your mercies that are new each day. I feel your presence in this morning hour, a time when all the world is hushed and still. In sweet communion, how my soul is blessed. With joy I lift my cup for you to fill. I bring you praise, O Lord, for all you've done, your faithfulness and blessings from above. With thankfulness I offer you my gift, a grateful heart, dear Lord, with all my love. So this concludes my program tonight. And I want you to be sure and watch next week when we're going to start another contest, and it's going to be a big surprise what that contest is going to be, and I know all of you is going to want to be involved with it. And I just hope with our next contest we have as many participants as we had this one, because we had over 100 people entered our contest. That's great. What do you say? Let's see if we can get 150 on this one. Think we can do that? I think we can. So till next week, keep listening so you'll know what the next contest is going to be.